All right, we have some breaking news that we've had our close eyes on. It's legislation in the United States. You will know it probably as Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. Well, the US Senate has now passed Donald Trump's sweeping tax cut bill after a marathon voting session on a number of amendments. The House of Representatives is now expected to have the final vote on the legislation on Wednesday. As we've been saying, the bill is expected to cut health insurance for over 12 million Americans.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
Alan Fisher joins us from Washington, D.C. with more details. So as we've been saying, Alan, it's been a marathon session. The Senate slogged through the night and into Tuesday. And now this announcement from the Vice President, JD Vance.
27 hours and it's all over until it goes to the House of Representatives on Wednesday. It was very tight, 50-50 as you heard. That meant there were 3 Republican no votes. They came from Tom Tillis, North Carolina, Rand Paul in Kentucky, and Susan Collins up there in Maine. Tillis and Paul we knew were definite no's. Collins had been swithering. She's now decided to vote against it. The big turning point, of course, was getting Senator Murkowski from Alaska on board. John Thune had spent a long time speaking to her over the last few hours, convincing her to add her support to Donald Trump's bill, and he seems to have finally convinced her. So there's going to be more money for rural hospitals, which will lessen the impact of cuts in Medicaid. But of course, the Democrats will tell you that this is going to add to the bills of ordinary Americans, even with the tax cuts, because suddenly health insurance will become much more expensive as well. Also in the bill, there's money for defence, including Donald Trump's Golden Dome project, more money for ICE enforcement, for the immigration enforcement that we've seen, more money for the border wall as well. And as we've said, this is going to lead to tax cuts. Essentially, these are now locked in. Donald Trump, of course, introduced them in his first term. They were due to expire now. Effectively, they were a landmine for the next president. He expected to have 2 full terms. It became an issue for him, but he's managed to get it through. One other interesting point, Chuck Schumer, who of course is the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, raised a point of order, and he's managed to have the name of the bill struck. So officially it is no longer the big beautiful bill. But of course we've all been calling it that for months, and it's unlikely to be a name that goes away anytime soon. It is a minor, very minor victory for the Democrats on the day that Donald Trump has managed to get his bill pushed through the Senate after 27 hours of debate and discussion.
Alan, we have had our eyes, of course, trained on this live shot of the Senate floor for a very long time now. I just wonder what the sentiment is beyond the confines of the Capitol. I mean, this is a bill that could affect millions of people. It could reverse Biden-era student debt relief, strip away Medicaid and welfare for vulnerable people, and deepen the national debt. How would you describe the public debate?
Well, of course, Donald Trump has been talking about this since January, and he wanted to get it done, and he wanted to push it all through in one big, beautiful bill, which is why it has been called that. And he managed to get it through the House. But the longer this has been talked about, and the more details that become public, fewer Americans support him. Initially, he had more than 50% of the support. Now it is under 50%. And politicians know that. They're aware that this could lead to a cut in Medicare. They are aware that even though Donald Trump had promised to protect it, they're aware that this could cut nutritional programs, particularly for poorer families in the United States. And although they will get tax cuts, they have managed a lot of the time to be convinced by the Democratic argument that yes, there are tax cuts, but billionaires will do much better out of this than the ordinary American people. And that is what's changed the opinion polls. Donald Trump will be delighted. Apparently he's been asking reporters while he's been down in Florida in the last couple of hours the progress. He's also been updated with details from here in Washington. He was quite confident that this bill would go through. and it has. It's now passed the Senate. It goes to the House. But it's not a done deal there yet either. People are concerned that this effectively adds $3 trillion over 10 years to the national debt. There is a caucus of the Republican Party in the House that are dead set against adding anything to the deficit, so they have to be won over. And then there are Republicans who are also concerned at the cuts to Medicaid, those programs that give coverage for those who are on government subsidies and also those who are lowly paid. And so that becomes an argument, and they have to be won over as well. Remember, it only got through the House the first time by one vote. Mike Johnson is convinced he can sway this through and get it onto Donald Trump's desk by the 4th of July, leading to a big, elaborate signing ceremony on Independence Day. It's not entirely a done deal yet.
So it's edging towards the final hurdle. Alan, many thanks for walking us through all of that. Alan Fisher there in Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.